Kevin and Bean's Breakfast. Breakfast with Linkin Park.
Hey guys, welcome to the secret location. Oh, this is intimate. This is tiny. Yes, it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Linkin Park. Fantastic. Linkin Park guys, right here. Pretty cool, right? I don't know, guys. As popular as you are, I'm surprised you couldn't draw more people. To me, I mean, it's just like, wow, you think, you know?
It's like 100 people in the
Where do we sit? We sit over here, Lightning?
Yeah.
Is this
you
right?
You guys can sit wherever you want.
Well, good morning, guys. Great to see you again. We've been keeping in touch with you since Minutes to Midnight came out, but man, how crazy, what a juggernaut this album is. I mean, you worked on it a long time. You knew it was good. You expected it to be popular, but this is insane, right?
It's weird. Right?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't know if I can't really say that we expected it to do anything. We just try to do our best, you know, every time we go in the studio and write the best songs we can, and we just hope our fans will enjoy it as much as we do. And because we have the best fans in the world, I mean, they always support us with everything that we do, and they came out full force on this record. It was amazing.
Is there some point in that year and a half or however long it took you to write and do the record where you started getting in your own head saying, I don't know what it's like now?
I think it was different for every guy. I can speak for myself and saying that there were definitely points when because this record was so different for us, it just felt like I wondered if any of the fans, if we were going to lose people, if any of the fans were going to be along for the ride on this one. Because, for us, when we started Minutes to Midnight, I think some of the demos that we first started out with sounded like, stuff that you might hear on Hybrid Theory and Meteora. And to us, when we were writing those things, they just weren't quite as exciting as the stuff that we were writing that sounded different. So we ended up going with more of the stuff that sounded different.
Did you guys put together the whole thing from front to end to have a theme or any kind of a through line, or was it just a lot of the best songs you could write?
It's interesting because we wrote so many demos for the record. I mean, we wrote like 150 songs, basically. And
you're just bragging now, Chester. I mean, seriously. You know how many people can't write one song? You wrote 150 just because you had a year.
It is kind of crazy that we wrote that much music, but at the same time, for us, I think it was interesting how when we finally broke it down to the 11 songs that made the album, how well they all work together and how diverse they all are. I think this is the most diverse record we've ever done, and it's kind of cool how even though each song, you can't listen to one song and say that's what the album represents, but you listen to the whole thing and it kind of grows on you and it all makes sense together, and it kind of just worked out that way.
And there are a couple songs on this record that were really informed by things that you'd seen in the previous years, things that are going on in the world politically, tsunami.
Yeah, we started we had been in Southeast Asia when the tsunami. I mean, we'd been in Southeast Asia right before the tsunami hit, and then when it hit, Brad actually was the one that he saw it on the news first, and sent a message to all of us like, you got to see what just happened. It's insane. These places that we just went to are destroyed. And so we started an organization called Music for Relief. Music for Relief, when after Katrina hit New Orleans, we Music for Relief, we did some things with that to try and help just bring some kind of hope to the people that were out there, still trying to put their lives back together. And things like that, the experience we had, some of us got to actually go down to the Ninth Ward in New Orleans and see what had gone on. Stuff like that definitely, influenced and informed the lyrics on the new record.
There's a backlash with some artists when they start talking about what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Not that it's not your right to express your feelings in your art, but did that ever occur to you as, maybe these aren't the things our fans want to hear us talking about?
We really worked, I think, extra hard on the songs lyrically that kind of dealt with those things, because we don't want to come across as like we're preaching to you, telling anyone what to think or how to live their lives, and we definitely don't want to get involved in politics. We're not politicians, we're musicians, we're artists.
Real quick on that note, I think that we really realized that on our trip to New Orleans, because Chester and I in particular, I know we had a couple conversations when we went down there, and we were dealing with politicians from that area, and we were just like, man, this is so far from our element, really did not feel the whole politics thing.
How do we talk to these people? How do we get through?
It was they had such an agenda.
Yeah, there was definitely a planned out kind of dialogue that they wanted to have with us and get the answers that they needed to get support for their plan. And so for us it was like, if we're going to talk about these things, we need to make sure that we get our point across without crossing any of those lines that we don't want to have bands, preaching to us, So we spent a lot of times. It was a very delicate thing, and I think that Mike did an exceptionally good job on Hands Held High, and that song in particular, I think, moves a lot of people, and I hear more feedback about that song, about how it kind of really brings people out in an emotional way, which is exactly the way that we wanted to touch people. It was an emotional way so that they can feel it rather than kind of react to it.
Right. And The Little Things Give You Away is a great song.
Thank you.
Great song.
Yeah, that's directly, that directly references our experience in New Orleans.
Brad, did you have something you wanted to jump in with?
I just wanted to say you guys look very handsome today.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
I'm actually surprised that you guys are on the radio, because
We're such good-looking guys.
In person.
Yeah.
It's kind of a waste, right?
People are missing the whole experience. But I'm getting it, so I feel really, really good about it.
Well, that's an excellent point. Folks, if you're just tuning in, a couple of hundred KROQ listeners behind us, it's Breakfast with Linkin Park happening this morning in KROQ.
Yes, it is.
This is the one. I mean, really, it's you guys and the Yin Yang Twins. Those are the two we've been waiting for, so I'm glad we got this one under our belt. We're going to take a break. The guys are going to play some more. We'll get to the audience questions when we come back. Right after this on the world famous KROQ.
Kevin and Bean. Broadcasting from a secret location for breakfast with Linkin Park. KROQ.
All right, it's Breakfast with Linkin Park. Come on, people. They're right here. We're going to play some more music for us in a second. We also have some questions from the audience.
We do, and of course, everybody here who won the Breakfast with Linkin Park tickets is also going to see the band at Project Revolution. We'll be talking a lot about that coming up here this morning at the Hyundai Pavilion on July 28th. Let's go to our man Lightning. He's in the crowd. Who's our first audience member question for Linkin Park?
Steve from Bell here.
Yeah, what's up, fellas?
Hi, Steve.
Hey, what's up, man?
How was it like working with Rick Rubin?
Rick is... You've seen Rick, right? You guys know what Rick looks like?
A heavier Brad.
Rick is
a hairier Brad, if you can believe that.
I just know Rick is just like such an icon, you know. And when you meet him, to me at least, growing up on all this music that he's made, or he's been on the team that made the music. Some of my favorite records in the world, you know, are records that he produced, and in fact. Just the idea that he worked on like the Run DMC and Beastie Boys stuff all the way through like the, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers and Johnny Cash and so many things. To us, we needed somebody who had experience down the road that we were planning to travel. Like we were looking to do something different, kind of evolve the sound of the band, find something new. And if you're doing something like that and it comes from somebody else, if somebody else like kind of points you towards something and forces you there, like kind of pushes you in that direction, it's going to sound forced, and you'll know it like right away. And Rick has this knack of taking an artist who knows what they're doing and they've got a thing and they want to find a new thing. He can show them a number of roads, help them along their way, and ask them questions to figure out within themselves what the answers are. So in essence, he's leading you to the goal, to the final album without telling you how to get there.
Tell us about the studios that you recorded this in. It is Laurel Canyon House, right?
We recorded at Laurel Canyon at his house there. It's a really interesting, 1920s style Spanish villa thing, and it was really interesting because it's so much wonderful music has been made there, and it is kind of deceiving because it's not remotely close to a real recording studio in the sense of like when you walk into, NRG, for example,
that's where we did
it's actually built, by sound engineers and everything that, everything's made a certain way specifically to create music. Here it's kind of like the Great Hall was turned into like the drum room, and like the den is where the mixing board is, and there's like 3 levels, and we just kind of took over the whole thing, and it was a really interesting experience.
Is that place supposed to be haunted? That house?
They do. People say that.
Right?
People do say that.
Did you guys see anything?
I think that people mistake hauntings with, old electric wires and like creaky windows.
Non-believer right here.
Yeah, he's a non-believer.
I mean, but it does have a very interesting aura.
He only says that because they didn't follow him home.
I got it.
Hey, let me ask you one more Rick Rubin PS question before we go back to the audience. Sure. I think he produced songs on 4 out of the 5 best album nominees at the Grammys this year. Everybody in town wants to work with him. How do you get him to work on your record? Do you have to get on a waiting list, or is there a lottery? I mean, how does it work?
That is actually that is a good question because it is kind of a reality. Rick is the demand for Rick when we first spoke to him. We felt was very high. We took the first meeting. We actually had a list of producers that we were thinking of working with, and it was really short.
There's like 5 dudes on there.
How did that...
I think we wound up only meeting with one person.
Right, and we only met with Rick. Rick was on the top of our list. We got a meeting with him first, and we sat down with him, and after the meeting, we were like, that's the guy.
So if he had said no, it would have been Weird Al. I mean, that would have been... Weird Al would have made the record with you, right?
It would have been, it would have been Weird Al or, like Dr. Dre, Scott Storch, something like that.
Do you have to reserve time with Rick? Like, did you tell him we're going to try and take 3 months, 6 months?
You know, Rick works in a way where he's not constantly in the studio, so he can work on multiple projects at the same time, which is interesting. It goes back to like what Mike was saying earlier. He's more like a captain of a boat, you know, like the captain kind of directs the crew where to go and what to do, and, you know, relies on them to do their job. You know, he's not down there pumping coal in the engine and, you know, turning the wheel and
doesn't sound like he knows much.
But well, it's
I could do that.
It's a very interesting talent because I don't think you know, Rick obviously has achieved what he's achieved because he has a specific talent, and that talent is something that you can't really. It's almost like writing a song. You know, it's people look at what we do and they might watch us in the studio and go, "This is crazy. These guys don't even work." But really, I mean, it's something that if everybody could do it, then everybody would be making hit records and writing, you know,
there you go.
songs and everything. So
that was a great question from the audience. We're going to go back out there in a moment. It's Breakfast with Linkin Park on KROQ, but I think maybe it's time to hear another song. And we got the setup here, right?
Fantastic. Live music, Linkin Park.
What you want me to be, feeling so faithless, lost under the surface. I don't know what you're expecting of me, but under the pressure of walking in your shoes. Every step that I take is another mistake to you. Every step that I take is another mistake to you. And every second I waste is more than I can take. I become so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware. I'm becoming this. All I want to do is be more like me.
Come on.
That's the real deal right there. That's the real deal right there. You're 6 feet from Linkin Park. It's Breakfast with LP on the world famous KROQ. We'll take a quick break. Come back right after this.
This is Kevin and Bean's Breakfast with Linkin Park. KROQ.
We're back. It's Breakfast with Linkin Park, and we have some KROQ listeners here. We got the band Linkin Park here.
Guys, this is the actual Project Revolution stage. Is that what we're looking at right now?
yeah, actually, this is pretty much what it's going to look like. Yeah.
You haven't done the tour for a couple of years, I guess. What's it been, 2 or 3 years, something like that, since the last one?
We haven't toured the U.S. Since the end of 2004. So
it's been a while.
Yeah.
I was reading an interview with you guys, and you were saying it takes almost a year to put together a tour like Project Revolution.
Yeah, actually, from the time we start talking about potential bands to tour with, and putting the whole package together, it takes about 9 months to a year. So, we started this last summer, basically.
And you guys have had, Snoop Dogg, Cypress Hill, a bunch of people like that on the tour. How did you go the My Chem Taking Back Sunday direction?
It was funny. Chester, in our band, we do things in a pretty democratic way. We all vote on different things, on all the major stuff, pretty much. And
does Brad get 2 votes because of the hair? I mean, is he at that point?
Occasionally, it depends on the
Brad's away
situation.
from the mic. Did you have something to say about that, Brad?
They actually don't care what I have to say.
They don't ask at all?
I just did. You see how? See? He doesn't understand. He doesn't listen when we say, Brad, what do you have to say? And then
so it's democratic. Everybody gets a vote.
Right. So we basically we have that system kind of set up for ourselves because that's just out of respect for each other, and then also we're kind of divided up into in different
Small
groups. People are in charge of
factions.
different things.
I'm sorry, Brad?
I said small militant factions.
Small militant
That's how
factions.
we're divided up.
Right, like chairman of certain things, and Chester and Rob are on our tour committee. These guys came up with a lot of the stuff this basically ended up being Project Revolution, and when they brought it to us, it was already halfway there, and it was phenomenal from the second that they brought it up. I'm personally just really excited to be out with My Chem and Taking Back Sunday.
I kind of just make a wish list, kind of like, when your parents say, all right, just write down anything you want for Christmas, no matter how ridiculous it is. And you kind of put I want a jet and a pony.
Sure.
And then you put the real stuff that you want at the bottom. With Project Rev, it's kind of just the wish list. I just kind of write down every possible act that I think would fit well together, or maybe people wouldn't necessarily see them on the same bill. And this time around, it was a lot easier for some reason to get the bands behind, jumping on a tour. Because a lot of bands, they already have their ideas, too, of what they want to do. And some people want to go out and do their own tours, or, they have other options that have been offered to them. And because we offer our tickets at a relatively reasonable price,
I don't know why you have the chance to go out on the road this summer with, Beyonce and Shakira, and you don't think of that direction. I mean, if I'm out on the road, I'm taking Beyonce. That's all I'm saying.
Now, you guys said that you vote on everything. Who gets outvoted the most, never gets their way? Somebody has to have different taste than everybody else.
It's actually pretty even, I think.
Is it?
I think it's usually, it's more like everybody kind of gets something, and then maybe one or two guys, and it kind of switches around, don't get it, or it's just obviously none of us want to do it, and it's pretty easy to convince the others who don't know.
Let me ask one more question to you guys. It's Breakfast with Linkin Park on KROQ if you're just joining us. Then we'll go back out to the audience where Lightning is at the super secret location. You guys have been together long enough that you theoretically could have been broken up by drugs or women or ego or any number of things that a lot of bands break up when they get to your level of success. Ever had any concerns, or has it always been pretty even-keeled?
I think that those bands are just breaking up because they don't have enough drugs, women, and ego. And obviously we're all taken care of. So
you got plenty, so you're fine.
Yeah. We got a stockpile of a warehouse, actually.
Fantastic.
All right, Producer Lightning in the audience. Breakfast with Linkin Park. Who's the dude you're standing next to?
We have Alex from Whittier.
This question's for Chester. After your cameo in Crank, do you plan to continue acting?
Yeah. You were the stoner in the pharmacy, right?
Yes. My name in the credits is Pharmacy Stoner.
Come on, that rules.
It doesn't get any better than that. It was the best 30 seconds of film history. It was really cool because it was interesting. They were actually filming in a building I used to live in downtown Long Beach, and I used to do a lot of theater acting when I was younger, and it kind of just came across, I don't even know how it really happened, but somehow the directors ran into somebody that I knew, and they asked if I would be interested in doing a part. And so I said, yeah, I might as well. I've kind of done a little bit of acting before. And it was a lot of fun, and it kind of sparked something in me that I haven't done for a long time, and I enjoy doing other things that are creative, so I am definitely open to doing stuff, you know.
Are you afraid that you're going to get typecast as the pharmacy stoner?
You know what, it might get that way, but, you know, Jared Leto is an incredibly talented person, and I think he's a great example of how you can be successful in two different genres and do it well, and so, you know, he's become a good friend of mine too, so I think if I'm going to do that, I'm going to kind of maybe ask him some advice on how to go about that.
There's actually a sequel to Crank. Are you going to be in the sequel?
I had no idea.
What is it, Cranks?
Get crankier?
Crank harder?
Crankier. Yeah.
All right, good question, Alex. Thank you very much. Let's do one more before the break. Breakfast with Linkin Park on KROQ. Who do you have, Light?
We've got Jose from Torrance.
I'd just like to ask, what is your favorite song to play?
I think we probably all have different answers.
I think right now, Bleed It Out, maybe.
That's one of
the
my
most
favorites
fun.
right now.
It's actually a really short song. It's a pretty short song on the record, and we've managed to turn it into like an 8-minute jam.
Awesome.
It just keeps going on and on and on, and it never gets old.
We're not going to do the 8-minute jam for you.
You'll see it at Project
like
Rev.
that, Mike.
That's bad radio.
You'll see it at Project Rev, yeah.
Yeah, come to Project Rev, you'll see 8 minutes.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, one question before the break. Who has already uploaded one of these performance videos from today up onto YouTube? Who already has it on the internet? Something that we've seen on this stage. 1, 2, we got a few. Fantastic. All right, so get your cell phone cameras ready because it's time for another song from Linkin Park, folks. Breakfast with Linkin Park on KROQ.
For the sake of being with you, the sacrifice of hiding in a lie, the sacrifice.
You bastard. No, that's fine. You guys want a little slower, or is that good? No, that was good. That was a good time.
I've lied to you the same way that I always do. This is the last smile that I'll fake for the sake of being with you. The sacrifice of hiding in a lie, the sacrifice is never knowing why I never walked away, why I played myself this way. Now I see you're testing me, pushes me away. Why I never walked away, why I played myself this way. Now I see you're testing me, pushes me away. I've tried like you to do everything you wanted to. This is the last time I'll take the blame for the sake of being with you. The sacrifice is hiding in a lie. The sacrifice is never knowing why I never walked away, why I played myself this way. Now I see you're testing me, pushes me away. Why I never walked away. Why I played myself this way. Now I see you're testing me. Pushes me away. Pushes me away.
KROQ. Kevin and Bean are having breakfast. Hey, breakfast with Linkin Park.
All right, it's Breakfast with Linkin Park at the world-famous KROQ. By the way, July 28th, Hyundai Pavilion, of course, is Project Revolution. Tickets are on sale now, but you don't care. You've all won yours, and you're here this morning. Producer Lightning, I know you got some people in the audience. As you know, guys, Project Revolution has Halo 3 as one of the sponsors of the tour this year. Who's the big Halo fan in the band, by the way?
Every one of us.
Every one of you, all right. I've got an Xbox 360 right here that is autographed by the members of this band on this stage. The best question in this segment of the questions we get to,
That's impossible to judge.
as selected by the band, is going to win.
Oh, thanks.
the
Put it on
Xbox.
us.
He's
Put
putting it
on
on
us.
you guys. Lightning, you got
it's up to
somebody in
you.
the audience out there?
I do. First up is Aaron from Tested.
I was just wondering, what's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while performing
That
on
question.
stage?
That question that you just asked.
Brad, we actually want to hear the other ones, too.
That may be a
that
winner.
was it?
Yeah.
Because I'm humiliated by that. Really just embarrassed.
You've never done anything embarrassing on stage?
No, that was it.
Oh, that was it.
The most embarrassing thing that's ever happened on stage.
I have a real answer.
Okay, go for
We were
it.
actually doing a showcase a long time ago for like a record label to try to get signed, which failed miserably every time we did it.
Yeah.
I don't know whatever the secret was, we didn't know it. And this probably didn't help, but during the show, my pants ripped and they actually fell. Like, I'm very thin if you haven't noticed. And without my belt and proper like zipper button scenario, they just literally like, I couldn't hold them up while I was playing. So I just took them off.
Yes.
Like,
That's right.
in the middle of the showcase, you know, like our
Maybe that's your problem with getting signed.
Might have been why, but our professional livelihood was at stake. So I literally just took my pants off and I played the rest of the set in my underwear.
Yes.
That was
You do what you have to do, right?
that was more heroic than embarrassing.
Yes,
That
it
might
was.
be a good story.
You misunderstood the question.
The punchline of that, though, Brad, is weren't they your red heart boxers?
I think that's the case.
It was all like, is it disturbing that I remember that?
Yeah, I'm actually. Yeah, I think this is now the most embarrassing.
Okay.
Well, I mean, what better time to come out, you guys, than right here on the radio? You know what I mean? All right, so that's question number one. Keep that in mind. That's question number one. Here's question number two for this segment again. Xbox, autographed by the band, thanks to Halo 3.
Next up is Edwin from Carson.
Is Mike Shinoda going to continue making Fort Minor albums?
Why don't you ask him?
Well, that's just you definitely win. First of all,
Mike, when you answer this question, can you refer to yourself in the third person?
Yes, call yourself Mike Shinoda, please.
That would be great.
Mike Shinoda.
Call yourself the Mike Shinoda.
The great Mike Shinoda thinks that. I guess on a serious note, the Fort Minor record, you know, I mean, it was just basically getting back to roots of what I grew up kind of doing and loving to listen to and do, hip hop music that was kind of just a little outside the box. And I don't know what the future is for it. I haven't really written any stuff that's Fort Minor stuff, but the closest thing I've done that's, you know, related to that, actually, I'm putting out on the Styles of Beyond record. We have a group called Styles of Beyond, which is on Machine Shop, our label. Thanks.
Got some fans here.
Got some Styles fans in the house. Yeah, their record, they got a mixtape, actually. They'll be on, Styles of Beyond is on Project Revolution. I don't know that they'll be playing the LA date. So you'll have, but they're from LA. They're from LA, so you guys will see them play here. And we have a new track together that's me and them that if you're a Fort Minor fan, definitely check out Second to None, which is on a Transformers soundtrack. You can go get it on iTunes, whatever.
Good answer. By the way, who saw Transformers in the band?
Oh, us?
In the band. Who?
I went to the premiere, yeah.
What'd you
I
think,
think
Chester?
everybody else did too. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, Kevin thinks it's one of the 10 best movies ever made.
I
Are you there with him?
Are you serious?
I loved it, yeah.
I think
it is.
They're mocking me. I loved it.
honestly, I knew it was going to look really cool because we had seen some of the work with the robots and everything before the movie was released. But I had no idea that the actual story and the acting was going to be as top notch as it was. I really thought that it was an exceptionally good movie, and then on top of it, it just like destroyed all of my expectations of what I wanted it to be.
Right.
And so those things combined, it really made it like it was so worthwhile that I actually like ran out and got like the Transformers video games. And like,
did you shed a tear when the black Transformer died?
When Jazz died.
Yeah, when Jazz died.
Yeah.
I mean, that was rough, right?
I didn't expect it, but I think it was kind of cool that he died. You know, because we killed so many.
That's true.
Decepticons.
Well, you know,
it was
I mean,
only fair.
in film though, if you have a movie set up like this and there's a black character, for some reason they
It's
always
gotta go down.
have to
Gotta
kill
go.
them
Yeah,
off.
it's kinda sad.
And it's just so sad.
That's right.
I just think
It
it's
is sad.
terrible. I think.
Do you guys ever get used to when you're watching a movie, all of a sudden your music comes on and you go, oh yeah.
Yeah,
does that shock you still? I mean, or is it you getting used to it?
You know which movie actually I still to this day every time I see it,
Dracula
I go,
2000?
Oh, yeah, I forgot Dracula 2000.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that was number 2, but Little Nicky.
Little Nicky.
Was,
oh yeah.
You know, like that movie is like, I don't know if you haven't seen it for a while, go back and watch it because it's like it gets funnier and funnier as time goes on.
And in all honesty, you have to be baked.
It's so funny in so many little ways, but like all of a sudden it's like Points of Authority comes on for like a split second.
Right.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot we're in this movie.
At least that Adam Sandler voice he does doesn't get annoying. I mean, we got that going for Little Nicky. All right, that's 2 questions. Let's do one more in this segment, then the Xbox. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to up the pressure. Not only do you win the autographed Xbox 360 thanks to Halo 3, not only is it autographed by the band Linkin Park, you also get backstage passes and you get to go back after the show and play Halo 3 with the band. That's the giveaway here, kids.
No pressure, dude. Go ahead.
So don't make this suck. Who's next?
And we got a birthday boy right here, Nick from East LA.
Hey guys, if you weren't musicians today, what would you be doing?
I know that Chester used to work at Burger King, right?
I used to work at Burger King. I was like, you know,
somebody worked at a bowling alley. Which one of you guys worked at?
Chester also worked at a coffee house.
I'm a barista. I'm an official
barista.
Yeah, I worked at the bowling alley.
I've dug trenches.
At Corbin Bowl.
Oh, you did Corbin Bowl? No kidding.
I scanned maps.
You scanned maps?
Talk about a boring job.
You got some bad jobs, dude.
Yeah.
Mike, did you ever do anything? You were in art school.
I did graphic design. I did.
Yeah.
I did actually. If since we were talking about Styles of Beyond earlier, the early Styles of Beyond artwork and like their logos and stuff. People actually have Styles of Beyond tattoos of that logo that I did a long time ago.
That's too cool.
T-shirt.
That's not.
Mike also paid.
I'm not saying it's
you
not
also
cool.
paid
I
art.
know it's
that's not
cool.
fair. Brad, you just grow hair?
Yeah, pretty much.
What did you do? You had to have a bad job.
We were actually at the Roxy last night because we did a Battle of the Bands for Project Revolution, which was really cool.
Right.
And I'm always so excited when I go back to the Roxy because I actually used to work there.
Really?
So, and people always laugh for some reason when I tell them what my job was.
You're a bouncer?
I was the bouncer.
Sorry, what did you do there?
That was really my job.
No, you weren't a bouncer. I was kidding.
That was my job. I was.
You were a
with
bouncer.
Mike G.
Yes.
Mike G. What is this? Mike G and Greco?
For On the Rocks. I would stand in front of the big silver door and with a clipboard, and I would.
I just thought, what's the least thing he would probably have done? I'd say bouncer.
I don't know why everyone finds that so funny.
Well, you're not exactly built like a bouncer.
Right.
That's all.
And Phoenix, how about you? What bad job have you done? What would you be doing if you weren't in this band?
I was an audio preservation historian for a couple of years.
The hell does that mean?
All through college, I would take open reel cassettes of interviews.
The story's really exciting.
Get ready. It's
we're going to come back to you for the underwear story in just a minute.
It's open reel, so you might not even know what it looks like, but it's basically tape that's on almost like the ancient recording systems, and they'd be these old interviews, and I'd transfer them from one open reel to another. You know, some of these things were like 30, 40 years old, to preserve these interviews on tape.
Were any of the interviews interesting to you?
No, they were about science.
So you're grateful to the band for taking you away from that life.
And because it's preservation work, you couldn't do it in a high-speed dupe. It had to be as high quality as you could. So I would press play on one machine and record and play on the other, and then I'd sit there for 45 minutes until it would be ready to switch the tapes.
Wow.
Yep.
That is
That's worse than Corbin Bowl. It's worse than Burger King.
I didn't even have to do that job, and I want to take my life. Just hearing about it.
What he's not telling you is it was actually like the highest paid UCLA campus job anyone could get. So
is that right?
Yeah, it was
nice.
Living the
he made $100,000 a year.
That's pretty good. All right, which one of the three questions you guys like the best?
What do you guys think? We got the embarrassing.
What about Joe?
Things?
They want to find out about Joe.
Oh yeah, sorry, Mr. Hahn. We forgot to. What about your jobs?
I used to do parking at Dodger Stadium. Actually, that was a good job.
Would you have hung on to that job if the band didn't come along? Would you still be there?
No, I'd be a world champion mixed martial artist.
Well, good luck with that.
All right then.
All right, guys, we need a consensus here. Who gets the Xbox from Halo 3? Who gets to come backstage? Who gets to play the game with the band?
Can we do a quick...
Most embarrassing moments. We got the Fort Minor question, and then we got the what would you be doing if you weren't in the band. You guys get to choose.
I like the last one.
The last one?
I think he was stacking the deck a little bit with the birthday boy.
I like
it is his birthday.
Aborted said 3.
I'm gonna vote. I vote for 3.
I vote for 3 too.
There it is. Number 3, right here.
Birthday boy gets the Xbox 360.
Nick, right here.
Have you seen? I had to look inside the Xbox, inside the box, because the faceplate of the actual Xbox is a limited edition Project Revolution faceplate.
Oh, very cool.
Small number. I don't know how many, but
they made like 500.
You can't read one of their signatures, though. I hope that's okay.
That's true.
That's fine.
All right. It doesn't matter. The guy who buys this on eBay won't be able to read them either. So that's fine. Hey, congratulations, birthday boy.
Before we get one more song, tell us about Leave Out All the Rest. Tell us about that song.
Leave Out All the Rest, actually, musically and lyrically, I think it was one of the songs that didn't quite come together right away. It actually went through a lot of different transformations. Typically, a lot of our songs, I think we figured out some ridiculous number. Like if we took every track, for every idea that we had done for every song, we would have like 20,000 tracks or something like that.
Should put that out.
And so, like this was one of those songs that like had like 60 versions, and so it was really interesting. But once we finally got the music together and we had some good melodies going, Mike really hit it out of the park, I think, with the lyrics. And
thank you, Chester.
You're welcome. Mike did wrote a lot of lyrics on this record that I think are some of his best work that he's ever done. And,
is he the reason that you guys have your first parental warning on your CD this time? Is it because of his potty mouth?
Well, actually,
yours?
It was kind of like one of those things where.
Can I tell this story real quick?
You can tell the story.
I want to tell the story just because it was the other guys weren't there, and it was just me and Chester in a room, and we were writing. My raps on the record already had some cursing in it, but when you turn on the CD, you notice the first song is Given Up, and there's cursing right off the bat in the very first song. We were working on the lyrics to that song, and it was Chester and I in a room, and it was near the end of the process, and I remember the chorus was just not coming together. Like every time we suggested something, recorded it, played it for the guys, they were like, it's almost there, but it's just not, it doesn't feel honest enough yet, it doesn't feel right yet. And I, for some reason, got in my head the F-bomb had to be dropped in the chorus. Like I looked at it on paper, I'm like, dude, you know what the song needs. It's basically in the punchline of the song, put me out of my effing misery. And Chester looked at me, and you've got to understand.
That was what brought that song all together?
Listen to this. He is the hugest. Like, our other records have no parental advisory, right? He's the foulest mouth.
Mind you, as we're talking, our production manager is talking in my ears. No one else can hear. He's going, remember to watch your language, keep it clean. Self-censor, keep it clean. And I'm sitting there going, okay, good. Because I literally have no control over.
We used to call him Tourette's.
Tourette's,
yeah. They actually, my nickname for a while was Tourette'ster because I cussed so much, and I would just say the foulest, most offensive things at all times, and it was
right. So when I said, and this working on giving up, it was like, I think you need to drop the F-bomb in order to get the point across. His face lit up like I just gave him
finally, you unleashed the hounds.
Yes!
I actually did, that you guys did that Chris Angel bit the other day where he was like floating over the pyramid?
Yeah.
I actually did that. I was all...
That's the sound you made? Wow. I thought that was just him. Fantastic. How about some more music from Linkin Park, guys? Breakfast with Linkin Park.
so scared that no one would listen, 'cause no one else cared. After my dreaming, I woke with this fear. What am I leaving when I'm done here? So if you're asking me, I want you to know, when my time comes with death along the lifetime, help me leave behind some reasons to be missed. And don't resent me when you're feeling empty. Keep me in your memory. Leave out all the rest. Leave out all the rest. Don't be afraid of taking my beatings. I've shed what I made. I'm strong on the surface, not all the way through. I've never been perfect, but neither have you. So if you're asking me, I want you to know, when my time comes with death along the lifetime, help me leave behind some reasons to be missed. And don't resent me when you're feeling empty. Keep me in your memory. Leave out all the rest. Leave out all the rest. Forgetting all the hurt inside you burned you out so well. Pretending someone else can come and save me from myself. I can't be who you are. When my time comes with death along the lifetime, help me leave behind some reasons to be missed. And don't resent me when you're feeling empty. Keep me in your memory. Leave out all the rest. Leave out all the rest. Forgetting all the hurt inside you've learned you hide so well. Pretending someone else can come and save me from myself. I can't be who you are. I can't be who you are.
Thank you. How about that? Breakfast with Linkin Park. It is Breakfast with Linkin Park on the world famous KROQ 106.7 KROQ. Thank you again, guys, for getting up so early. Chester, you have your second clothing line coming out? Is that right?
Yeah, actually. Well, I have a partner, a good friend of mine. I used to be in a band called Grey Days with. We own a chain of tattoo studios called Club Tattoo, and we carry the Club Tattoo clothing in our stores, and you know, we're hoping to get those out to other people, because there's a lot of people who want that stuff.
Right.
But we want to kind of elevate it a little bit, and we wanted to come up with a premium line. So we created this line called V-Cell, and we'll be launching it in Vegas in August at Project. You know, hopefully it does really well. I'm pretty stoked about the designs. I know I've showed the guys some stuff, and
I think, I thought it was the best stuff I've ever seen. Like that, you know, Chester's been involved with a few different things, and it's probably my favorite stuff that he's done. So,
is it true that you spend more time getting dressed than your wife?
Yes.
You have the biggest closet.
Right.
Takes you an hour to get ready to go out.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You have to have your belts match your shoes, and I heard that you had to have your socks match your underwear.
But there's also a part of that is the OCD.
Yeah.
OCD part of Chester's brain.
Oh, it's OCD.
You should see his hotel room when you go on tour. It's the funniest thing.
Why? What?
Well, everything has to be in a certain place. And also like this morning, because I'm wearing boots, you know, I usually don't wear white socks, because that's, you know, they're white socks. But you know, like I'm wearing boots, so like, you know, I forced myself to put white socks on. You guys are sporting the amazing white socks. But you know, it's kind of funny. But when I go out on the road, I actually forced myself in this last tour to kind of get a little messy a little bit and throw some stuff around. So I intentionally threw some stuff around to kind of like break up my whole thing. But I actually repack all my luggage every time I leave the room.
Every time you leave the room?
Yeah, because
It's not just when he packs
I like
up
to
to
know
leave the hotel. It's actually when he's leaving the room.
Like he could be going out to lunch.
I go out, I like to know where everything is. You know, so like if I want to wear a specific shirt, I don't go digging through my stuff. I just go, oh, it's the third shirt down, second row, and then I can repack all my stuff the same way every time.
Wow.
And it's just, I don't know. I'm a freak, I guess.
Do you have to like open the door in certain ways and all that stuff? Wash your hands 3 times?
Drive slow on Sundays.
You know, I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad, but there are certain things that like I have to do the same way. And my wife does make fun of me because when I get dressed to go anywhere, she calls it a fashion show because I'm like constantly like walking out of my closet looking at.
How about
and I look
this?
at something and then I'm like, it's just not working. And I take it off and then I go start all over. It's just like it's crazy.
So in the history of Linkin Park, when the book is written, it'll be July 20th, 2007. We found out that Chester went bye-bye. Basically, that's what we learned here this morning. He's gone.
It's no secret that, especially within the band, that I'm probably the most eccentric out of everybody here.
Said the man with the mohawk. All right. We have a couple of more songs left from the band Linkin Park here ahead of their Project Revolution tour. Tickets are on sale now for the show coming up at the Hyundai. What's the next number we're going to do here, guys?
An oldie but a goodie.
And by we, do you mean...
I may sing
You mean them?
on the marimba.
No.
Nice.
Linkin Park. Breakfast with Linkin Park is on KROQ.
You guys can sing along on this one if you'd like.
With one thing, I don't know why. Doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain it through time. All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. Watch it count down to the end of the day. The clock takes life away and it's so unreal. Didn't look out below. Watch the time go right out the window. Trying to hold on and didn't even know I wasted it all just to watch you go. I kept everything inside and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to me will eventually be a memory of a time when I tried so hard and got so far that in the end it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end it doesn't even matter. One thing, I don't know why. Doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to remind myself how I tried so hard. In spite of the way you were mocking me, acting like I was part of your property, remembering all the times you fought with me. I'm surprised that it got so. Things aren't the way they were before. You wouldn't even recognize me anymore. Not that you knew me back then, but it all comes back to me in the end. Kept everything inside and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to be will eventually be a memory of a time when I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end it doesn't even matter. You might trust in you. Push down as far as something can go. For all this
Linkin Park. Breakfast on KROQ. We'll be back with one more song right after this.
KROQ. Kevin, Bean, Linkin Park. Breakfast with Linkin Park. KROQ.
Super secret location this morning on the world famous KROQ. It's the latest breakfast show with Kevin and Bean. And we've been waiting for this one for a real long time. One of the biggest and the best rock bands in the world, Linkin Park, has given up their time here this morning. This has been a lot of fun. You know, one of the cool things about doing these breakfasts, guys, and we've been doing them for a long time, is, you know, it's fun for us, obviously, to see you up close and personal, but we love giving the listeners the opportunity to ask you questions personally. And you all have always been so involved with your listeners. I mean, you spend a lot of time on the websites and the fan clubs and the MySpace and everything like that. It seems like you're all committed to that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's like, from our point of view, it's like if you don't pay attention to your fans and you don't, you know, give them the respect that they deserve for supporting you and coming to your shows and learning all your music, it's like, what's the point of doing it? It's kind of like, for me, one of the best parts of being a musician or being a fan of music is actually going to see a live show, and that kind of exchange that the crowd has with the band. And you know, it's great to be on this side, but it's almost as good and probably even better, I think, in a lot of ways, to be in the crowd kind of experiencing that. And it's, you know, we do everything we can to support our fans because they support us so much too.
Have you ever been surprised? Have you ever learned something from the fans that they either really liked or really didn't like that you were surprised by?
You know, for me, it usually comes down to like feedback on songs and stuff like that. Once we put something out, like we were just talking earlier about the song "Bleed It Out." You know, I had always loved when we did that song in the studio. I had always loved that song, and you know, when we were putting out, we tend to stay out of the whole business of like which song is a single and whatnot because we're not very good at picking them. We learned that on our first record, and the label and you know, stations like KROQ saying, "We think this one's the best." It's like, oh, okay, you guys are the ones playing it, so like you play whatever you want. We don't even know what we're doing out here. And I always like Bleed It Out, and the fans kind of spoke. I know that when we first played, we did some with Stryker,
right?
KROQ,
in New York.
We did a thing in New York that was like a world premiere thing, and when we played that song, the room went nuts. And I was thinking, like, oh, thank God. Like, I love that song. And if every crowd reacts like that, then hopefully that'll be a single someday.
Did Stryker show you his tail, by the way, when you were with him? I know that dude's got a tail, right?
Everybody talks about the tail. I was on Loveline this week. And did you guys happen to hear, I gave him a real hard time about Courtney Love?
No.
She called him up on the air and, like, totally hit on him. You guys
not surprising.
Have to give him crap for this.
But have you seen her lately, dude? She's like Grandma Courtney now. I mean, you want Courtney 10 years ago to hit on you. You don't want Courtney now to hit on you.
Dude, I gave him such trouble for it. You guys got to give him trouble for it.
All right, we will.
Give Stryker a hard time because it was really funny.
That's awesome. All right, one more question in the audience on Breakfast with Linkin Park. Moments away from their final performance here this morning. Lightning, who's the lucky dude?
I'm out here with Enrique from Southgate.
Hey, what's up, man? After collaborating with Jay-Z and the Queen of Damn soundtrack, who are you thinking of collaborating with in the future?
Ooh, good question. You could make a phone call, get almost anyone to come up now.
You know, it's interesting because we're pretty spontaneous about that kind of stuff, and we never really we don't really plan out. You know, like the Collision Course thing was, you know, Jay-Z's camp and MTV actually contacted us and asked us if we would be interested in doing it. Jonathan Davis called me and asked me if I would sing on the Queen of the Damn soundtrack, and it kind of has always worked out that way. So we're pretty much open-minded to working with any artist that we feel is you know, contributing something really creative and original. So, you know, I know that we talked to Bjork in the past, and she wanted to do an original track with us. So, you know, maybe that's still open. That would be kind of cool. But
you still rolling with the Hova though? You guys still get together? You and Jay-Z?
Yeah. I saw Jay the last time we went through New York. I went over to he has I guess he has a part ownership in this place called Spotted Pig. Have you guys been there? It's really good. It's this little tiny hole in the wall, but like kind of middle high end bar restaurant place. And they've got like this secret room. Actually, they got multiple levels of secret rooms in the back. So of course I went to the front.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't know what you're talking about, dude. Almost like turned me away. And then I'm like, okay. I couldn't get a
handshake or
I couldn't get a hold of anybody.
Code word or anything?
Yeah.
Oh, he's so changed his phone number after he gave it to you, right?
I know.
Exactly.
No, he's just, in the last couple months, it just seems he's just gotten such a big head. I don't know what it was. He was so down to earth back when he was, the president of a label. And
speaking of down to earth, how great has Linkin Park been here this morning, by the way? Seriously, all of you guys for showing up, doing this for us. Man, it's been so much fun. We really appreciate it. And, of course, Project Revolution is coming to town, and it'll be here before you know it at the end of this month at the Hyundai Pavilion. Tickets are on sale now. Chester, real quick, who's the lineup for folks who maybe haven't heard who's on the project this year?
Well, this year we have My Chemical Romance, Taking Back Sunday, Him, Placebo, Julian K. Those are the main stage acts. On the Revolution stage, we have Mindless Self-Indulgence, Seosin, The Bled, Styles of Beyond, and Medina Lake.
That's a day right there. You going to play one more to take us out here today?
Yeah.
One more song.
Let's do a little Bleed It Out.
Breakfast with Linkin Park on KROQ.
All right, listen, you guys. What we're going to do is we're going to take this up a notch. We've given you guys an easy one so far, but you got to work for this one, okay? So let me see 2 hands up like this. Even you guys in the back, everybody, 2 hands up. Okay, you apparently don't know where you're at right now. You're at a Linkin Park show. Hands up. There we go. Put them together like this. Come on. Woo! That's what I like to see. Goes like this. Yeah, here we go for the 100th time. Hand grenade pins in every line. Throw them up and let something shine. Going out of my mind. Filthy mouth, no excuse. Find a new place to hang this noose. Scream me up from atop these roofs. Not a tight so I won't get loose. Truth is you can stop and stare. Let myself out, no one cares. Dug the trench out, lay down there with a shovel up out of reach somewhere. Yeah, someone pour it in. Make it a dirt dance floor again. Say your prayers and stop it out when they bring that chorus in. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. I bleed it out, go stop the show. Choppy words and a sloppy flow. Shotgun opera, lock and load. Cock it back and then watch it go. Mama help me, I've been cursed. Death is rolling in every verse. Candy paint on his brand new hearse. Can't contain him, he knows he works. This hurts, I won't lie. Doesn't matter how hard I try. Half the words don't mean a thing, and I know that I won't be satisfied. So why try ignoring him? Make it a dirt dance floor again. Say your prayers and stop it out when they bring that chorus in. I